For the past 5 years, teams have been converging on an extreme part of the desert Southwest. On the shores of a desert lake known as the Salton Sea. 36 teams have gathered for a race that will take them from the salt-crusted shores of this desolate body of water across San Diego County to climb one of its highest peaks, Palomar Mountain. This 81-mile trek is known as Badwater Salton Sea. The 2018 Badwater Salton Sea began with racer registration. Located at the same place as Time Station 2 of the race, the Borrego Springs Resort in Borrego Springs. The thing that differentiates this event from others is that it's a team event. Teams are male, female, or both, in 2- and 3-person categories.
We've run together, and we've run together.
But not really as a whole.
The rules require that teams remain within 25 meters of each other throughout the entire race.
We ran in races against each other.
And we all finished. We have very similar strengths. I mean, we're right next to each other all the time.
Yeah, I'm usually the slower one, but...
The team dynamic changes the way many runners take on this challenge.
So the whole team dynamic is a huge part of what defines this race. I mean, it's an ultramarathon. It's 81 miles from Salton Sea to Palomar Mountain. But, the matchup of the runners, is the chemistry between them, or lack thereof, is what it's all about.
We think we'll function pretty well as a team. We've kind of gone over our strengths and weaknesses and how we like to move along throughout ultras, and we think we'll be able to fight.
Teams come in a variety of compositions.
Well, I'm the bald one, he's the beautiful one.
It's obvious. I mean, it's
pretty clear here.
it's so easy to pick a name. I mean, come on.
Team Tres Amigos Cruce USA is composed of runners who have all run across the United States.
It was Chris's concoction that he'd put all of us are transcontinental crossers, and also we all have won Badwater. So that's it.
Unique team, that's it.
Yeah.
It just seems natural.
Yeah.
It was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
At the pre-race briefing, Chief Adventure Officer Chris Kosman goes over the rules of the race and overview of the route.
So it's the same route starting at the Salton Sea, through Anza-Borrego Desert State Park, to Lake Henshaw, up East Grade to Palomar Mountain, the almost tallest mountain in San Diego County. But we have a new finish line this year. We used to finish at a lodge we rented called the Upper Meadow Lodge. Now we're finishing at the lodge on Palomar Mountain. It's still the exact same 81-mile distance. This finish, the last mile, is actually a little steeper than the other route, but it's a really fantastic finish line.
The teams gather early as the sun rises over the salty wasteland, and runners congregate at the starting line. Here, racers prepare with their crews and get weighed in by race medical personnel. Once at the starting line, the national anthem precedes the countdown. Upon the start of the race, they move off the shores and proceed west through the streets of Salton City. Some teams use this easy section to warm up as they run in groups and exchange war stories, while others, like Team Too Legit to Quit, are already in race mode and begin to create a gap between them and the rest of the runners. A group of 4 or 5 teams stay competitive and lead the rest of the pack. As they leave Salton City, the first opportunity for racers to interact with their support crews comes at the 7-mile mark, a small parking lot with a fast food joint and the last gas station before Borrego Springs. After a quick refuel, they take off, moving west along S22, the Borrego Salton Seaway. As they enter the Anza-Borrego Desert, the competitive teams separate from the rest of the field, and the fight for second overall begins to take shape. A U.S. Navy microwave tower at 14.4 miles in marks the first time station. By this point in the race, Too Legit to Quit has taken a solid lead with significant distance from the rest of the field. In the early morning, at this section of the route, temperatures are high in the 90s. Wind gusts are hitting 40 miles per hour. The sun was beginning to beat down on the racers as they made their way across this vast terrain. Team Too Legit to Quit entered Borrego Springs with a solid half hour between them and the next team. They didn't spend long going through the time station at Borrego Springs Resort and kept moving.
We're best friends now.
As Team Chasing Jared approached Time Station 2, they showed off a souvenir they found on the road. And before the turn on the tilting T towards the time station, Jared had some bad stuff in his belly he needed to get rid of. Heart and Soul, the lead two-person female team, came into Time Station 2 holding third place overall. Just 5 miles after Time Station 2, at the 40.6 mile mark, is the trailhead to the California Riding and Hiking Trail and Time Station 3. Over the next 8 miles, teams will climb 3,000 plus feet along a cactus-lined trail overlooking Hellhole Flat as they enter the San Isidro Mountains. Here, crews prepare their racers for the upcoming climb. Team Too Legit to Quit still maintained their lead, but began to slow as the climbing began. The battle for second overall continued as Huey, Dewey, and Louie took the lead and moved steadily up the trail. In hot pursuit, Team Chasing Jared wasn't far behind.
Legs.
Team SOAG and Heart and Soul rounded out the top 5 teams up the trail, with Heart and Soul taking the opportunity to capture a selfie. After a grueling climb, fighting hot and windy conditions, Too Legit to Quit emerged on the top side of the trail. Their crew members greeted them as they rejoined Montezuma Valley Road. The racers hooked up with their crew to quickly resupply calories burned climbing the trail. After a short pit stop, they headed back out en route with a new determination. With a strong lead, Too Legit to Quit moved quickly through Time Station 4 in Ranchita. The group of teams fighting for second overall began to make their way onto the Montezuma Valley Road to connect with their crews and move on to Ranchita. In Ranchita, taking a photo with the local ranchetti marks a milestone in the race. At this point, Huey, Dewey, and Louie were maintaining a 10-minute lead over the next 2 teams, Chasing Jared and SOAG. The two-person female team, Heart and Soul, was a half an hour behind them. It's late afternoon as the teams began to move along State Route 79 and then 76 into Lake Henshaw. As the elevation along the route rose, the temperature began to fall. Racers and teams took this opportunity to change into evening gear for the cold conditions and to enhance visibility along dark roads. During this time, teams experienced some spectacular views as they ran into the setting sun along grassy fields and cow pastures. Team Too Legit to Quit was holding on to their lead as they made their way through Time Station 5 at Lake Henshaw and the 68-mile mark. With just under 13 miles left in the race, they began their climb of Palomar Mountain. The climb up Palomar was dark along a steep, windy mountain road. The fog and cold began to set in as the teams fighting for second overall and first in the 3-person division made their final lead change. With camaraderie and mutual respect, Team Chasing Jared passed Huey, Dewey, and Louie to move into the second overall spot. At the finish line, Team Too Legit to Quit bust over the finish line with a time of 15 hours and 36 minutes.
We worked well together. We were very opposite in many ways. When he was strong for the first half, he pulled and cut the wind for a good 30 miles. And then I started feeling strong on the trail and after the trail. And we just talked and we did all the things you told us to do. Communicate and respect each other, and it worked.
It's a perfect team.
Yeah.
Team Chasing Jared took second overall with a time of 16 hours, 16 minutes.
2019.
Awesome.
And Huey, Dewey, and Louie rounded out the top 3 overall teams to cross the line in 17 hours and 3 minutes.
Thank you.
That
was a heck of a day.
In 2018, of the 36 teams that started the race, 35 crossed the finish line, 24 of them with an official ranked time because they finished with their full team intact. But all of them put in an extraordinary effort in working together and taking on this team race in the Badwater family, the Badwater Salton Sea. For more information, go to the official Badwater website to see race results and a complete list of all the world-class race events within the Badwater family.